Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I really hope you're all well. Welcome from me and my husband Damon. First of all, I just want to say I'm really sorry if you guys can visibly see how swollen my face is right now. It's pretty gross. My wisdom tooth is so swollen and all of this side of my jaw is just like agony, but I just really wanted to come on camera and film some videos for you guys today. So yeah, I'm just gonna work through the pain, suffer for my art, you know. But anyway, yeah, so that's why my face looks like I've kind of swallowed a golf ball or something. But yeah, basically today I'm going to do my Christmas book haul, so what I got for Christmas, or the books that I got for Christmas, including some, or one should I say, that I bought myself. Some of them haven't arrived yet because I got some vouchers. It's actually Boxing Day today in the UK, which is the 26th of December for anyone not in the UK. So yesterday was Christmas Day and I spent my book vouchers yesterday online. So obviously the books haven't arrived yet, but I just really wanted to get this video up quite quickly for you guys. So yeah, the ones that haven't arrived yet, I'll put pictures of on screen and I will still talk to you guys about them. But basically I'm going to talk you guys firstly through the physical books that I got given yesterday. I feel so spoiled and so unbelievably lucky to have all of these books in my possession. So I'm just going to get right on into it and stop rambling basically. So the first book is one that I actually bought myself, and I bought it I think like 2 days before Christmas, which is why I'm including it in this book haul, and that is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is the first book in a trilogy. I don't know what the trilogy's called. Oh, the Greenbone Saga, there we go. And I've seen this everywhere recently, so I just had to pick it up. I've been thinking about it, and when I saw the first book in stock in Waterstones this week, I was like, you know what, fuck it, like it's nearly Christmas, we're doing it. So this is kind of like an urban fantasy, and it was apparently reminiscent of kind of like Hong Kong gang stories, and I believe it follows kind of a futuristic like urban society where jade is used by warriors to help power their strength and their skills, but only kind of certain people can wield jade until this new drug comes on the market, which allows kind of everybody to be able to wield it, and obviously that kind of causes absolute chaos. So I feel like perhaps there's going to be kind of maybe like 2 rival gangs or something involved. I'm not too sure, but I'm really excited to give this a go. Like I say, I've heard so much about it recently, so yeah, I'm really excited just to see what it's all about and where the hype comes from. This is actually on my January TBR video, which will be coming to you guys soon, so yeah, I'm very, very excited. So next up I have Guild, which is the first book in the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy, and this is apparently a retelling of the King Midas myth, where literally everything in this world is made of gold, including the main character. Midas changed her into gold. And basically there's not a huge amount of information about what this is about, only that it is an adult fantasy romance series, and apparently there is mystery, intrigue, and a whole lot of like sexy time in this. So everyone again has been raving about this on Booktok recently, and my dad very kindly picked me up the first book in the trilogy for my Christmas present. I basically just asked for a ton of books and he picked, so I'm very, very, very happy and very excited he picked this one. And I'm excited to get stuck into it so I can actually give you guys more information on it. I'm actually thinking for a lot of I got a lot of like first books in series and trilogies for Christmas this year, and just kind of in general this past year. So I'm thinking of maybe starting a series on my channel where I just read each installment of a series like as a reading vlog, and maybe go a little bit more in depth, so a bit spoilery, so you guys can kind of see my reactions and stuff to them. So if you think that sounds good, let me know, because I was thinking perhaps starting that with Guild, and then obviously with each of the different books in the series and with the rest of some of these that are on this pile, I can do similar reading vlog type videos maybe. So yeah, let me know what you think of that. Next up we have Throttle by Lauren Asher. This is the first book in the Dirty Air series, and this series I think is like a companion series. This one's a brother's best friend trope, and she kind of wants him but knows that she shouldn't really have him. He's kind of a little bit self-destructive and just wants to go for it anyway because he just doesn't really care. And yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I've heard some really great things about this series recently, so I'm just excited to like delve in and see what it's all about. And I feel like it's going to be quite like a fast-paced fun time, so yeah. This next one is Savage Lands by Stacey Marie Brown, and this is again the first book in a series, and this is kind of like a fantasy romance series again. I think it's got fae and kind of supernatural creatures in it. And in this one, they're living in kind of like a walled city. It looks a bit like London on the picture, so I'm wondering if maybe it's like inspired inspired by London, I don't know. Oh no, Budapest. There we go, it's right on the back. There's like a battle brewing between fae and humans, and the main character is human, and she ends up getting thrown into a really terrible prison for whatever deed it is that she does. It's not kind of specified, and there she has to kind of make her way amongst kind of like the worst of the fae and the worst of the human criminals, and she meets a guy called Warwick Farkas, who's apparently like a sexy, vicious legend. And then there's some kind of like fight to the death. It sounds almost like Hunger Games. It says if the games don't take her out first, a fight to the death where only one survives. So I'm assuming maybe she has to like fight for her freedom. But yeah, this sounds like a really good time, and I've heard again great things about this recently, so I'm really intrigued to kind of delve in and see what it's all about. Again, with it being the first in the series, I think this could well be one of the books that I maybe do a reading vlog for. So again, if you're interested in hearing more about that series and wanting to know a little bit more in depth about that particular book, let me know. Maybe we can do a reading vlog, who the hell knows. Then we have The Lonely City by Olivia Lang. This is a memoir, and this is about a woman in her mid-30s who moves to New York to start over again, and she's just kind of like dealing with loneliness and kind of coming to terms with where she is in her life versus where she thought she was going to be. And this is told all through kind of a journey within art and the artistic masterpieces that she kind of encounters in New York, and how that helps her to relate to where she's at in her life. I saw Lizzie Hadfield reading this while she was in New York recently, and the way she described it was just kind of sounded like everything that I personally feel like I need in my life right now. I'm approaching 30, I'm single, I'm preparing to move to a new city at some point in the next 12 months, and I've been feeling very alone recently. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, like it's been a very, very lonely, weird time of my life this year. So I feel like this perhaps will be something that I can relate to quite deeply, and I'm kind of hoping it helps me to kind of reorient myself with where I'm at in my personal life, and just kind of give me perhaps a little bit of a boost, or even a little bit of like comfort that I feel like I kind of need right now. So without going too like deep and emotional chats with you guys, like that's what I'm kind of hoping to get from this, and I'm very excited to read this one. I am thinking of reading a lot more non-fiction this year, and it's probably something that I'll feature less necessarily on my channel in terms of things like reading vlogs, but certainly I will be doing videos about the non-fiction books that I feel like have either helped me from kind of like a personal development standpoint, or yeah, I don't know. I am quite excited to talk about them a little bit more, though I do have quite a few on my TBR pile that, again, like I'm not really featuring them in TBRs. I read non-fiction very slowly. I read it very differently to how I read fiction. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys about them basically in more detail, kind of when I've read them and when I figure out kind of how I want to feature them on my channel. But that is one that I am kind of considering a priority over the next couple of months for sure. Next we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Now I'm sure this one probably needs absolutely no introduction because it is everywhere at the minute, and I'm super excited to read it. But for anyone who doesn't know, this is the kind of like the fake dating trope. We have Olive, who is a PhD candidate. She's trying to prove to her friend that she's on her way to a happy ever after, so she kind of kisses the first guy she sees, which is Adam. And he's kind of, I think, a bit of a player, and then yeah, they decide to fake date to try and help her kind of save face in front of her friend, but I'm assuming eventually they fall in love. I've heard some of the quotes from this and I'm obsessed, so yeah, I'm very, very excited to read this one. Next we have The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. I think it's Gornichek, and this is a Nordic mythology retelling, and it's about, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Angerboda. And she's a witch, and she ends up getting burnt by the god Odin because she's got like kind of prophetic powers, and she shares her visions with the wrong people. So as punishment he burns her, and she goes off into the forest to try and like live a life of exile. But then she meets Loki, the god. They fall in love, they build a life together, they have children, and then all of a sudden as she's healing, her prophetic powers come back. And it says at the bottom she must choose whether she'll accept the fate that she's foreseen for her beloved family or rise to remake it. So I'm really excited by this. I've never read kind of any Norse mythology. I've never read any Norse mythology retellings either. So I'm keen to see if I prefer this to kind of the Greek mythology retellings that have been quite popular recently. So we'll see. But I'm very excited by this. And I also really love the cover as well. This is beautiful. And this was a Christmas gift from my friend Holly. So yeah, I'm very excited to delve in. And then finally, from the books I have in physical copy, we also have the first of the Zodiac Academy books, which again was one from my dad, and this is by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. And this, I think, is like a fae story, and I think in the first book it's about two girls who don't know that they are somehow related to the fae, and they get taken to the Zodiac Academy to kind of train, I think. But this is quite a big series, and I've heard so many people raving about it recently again, so I've been wanting to delve into it for a while, but I thought I'd put it on my Christmas list rather than kind of buying yet another book, because honestly my physical TBR pile now is at nearly 70 books. It's ridiculous. So yeah, again, like I've said with all of these, I can't wait to get stuck into it. I'm really excited for kind of some fae, like fantasy romance books this year. I feel like I don't know, I've kind of like had a hole in my heart that needs to be filled by a fae romance, because since House of Earth and Blood was released, I haven't really read any like good fae romances. So I'm like desperate to get stuck into another series that I can just binge. So again, with Zodiac Academy, I think that's going to be another one that I might do a reading vlog of me reading each installment in the series. So again, if that is something that you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. Now, as for the books I have currently on order, first of all, we have Malice by John Gwynne. Now this I think is more of like an adult high fantasy. Again, I don't know a huge amount about it, but I feel like this one has its roots in Norse mythology. And this one was one that I put kind of like quite high up on my Christmas list. So obviously as soon as I got the vouchers, it was definitely always going to be purchased. And I think this is the first book in a series of 4 or 5. So I'm really curious to get stuck into it and see what it's all about. I'm kind of wanting to discover some more kind of like adult fantasy series that I really enjoy in 2022. Because I just feel like over the last few years I haven't really read much adult fantasy. I've read a lot of YA, I've read a lot of like new adult kind of like fantasy romance, but not just kind of like straight fantasy. So yeah, I'm curious to discover some new series, see if I love them as much as I love things like Lord of the Rings, and yeah, I'm excited to delve in. I then also picked up These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, which as we all know is like a Shakespearean retelling set in 1920 Shanghai. I cannot wait for it. I'm so curious because I've seen it everywhere. I think Chloe Gong is amazing. I follow her on Twitter and on TikTok, and I find her just super interesting. I loved hearing about her route into publishing and kind of her journey and kind of how it all happened for her. And I'm just really excited to read These Violent Delights finally, and if I enjoy it, obviously I'll then pick up Our Violent Ends. I was really tempted to just pick up both straight away, but I'm trying not to do that at the moment because I've done that so many times before where I've picked up like a whole series in one go and then not like the first one. So yeah, I tried not to do that with this one, but I am really excited to read it finally. And then lastly, I also picked up Furyborn. I can't remember the author's name now, and it's the first in the Elysium trilogy. And I don't actually have my phone anywhere near me now to give you a synopsis. So honestly, this is terrible of me. I'm not going to, because I can't remember what it's about. But again, it is one that I'm kind of really curious to read. And I feel like this one is, I don't know if it's kind of marketed in Waterstones as YA, but they're marketed everywhere else. It's kind of like a new adult / adult fantasy. So I'm gonna go with saying it's new adult, but I could be very, very wrong. And this one is supposed to be brilliant as well, so I'm very excited to delve in and discover kind of a new trilogy too. I've heard a lot of people say that if you're kind of wanting to step up from YA but you're not ready to delve right into kind of like full on like the lore and everything else of adult fantasy, then this is a really good place to go. So I'm excited. Other books that I also really want to pick up, which I may yet get before the end of the year, are The Spanish Love Deception, because again, I've heard so many things about it. I've seen people literally losing their shit over that romance, and I'm just so curious at this point that I really want to read it. Also, It Happened Last Summer by Tessa Bailey. I did try to get that actually off of Waterstones with my vouchers, and it just wasn't in stock anywhere, so I'm going to see if I can get that probably on Amazon. And then there's a couple of little self-published romances as well that I'm thinking of picking up, but one was Grip, and I can't remember, I think it was like Kennedy Ryan. And oh gosh, there was Hooked, which is like a Peter Pan, Captain Hook type retelling, but with Captain Hook as the main romantic protagonist, which I think sounds super interesting. And then there was another Hades and Persephone retelling, something to do with pomegranates. Can't remember the name of it. I'll try and put a picture of the cover on the screen. And then also there will obviously be like the follow-up to Zodiac Academy and the follow-up to Guild as well that I will end up purchasing, but not right away. I think I have mentioned in one of my videos, it's either gone up already, I'll link to it if it has, or if it hasn't, it's coming soon, about my reading habits for 2022, and I have kind of said in that quite specifically that I'm trying to go on a bit of a book buying ban now, until I've cleared off more of my physical TBR, because it is getting out of control, and I don't have the storage in this room to have like big bookcases where I can fit like over 100 books, for example. I mean, I probably have well over 100 on this, but this is literally just 3 shelves and everything's kind of like double stacked. And it's stacked on the top as well, so that's literally the only space I have. So now I have about 100 books nearly by my bed there, and I have a pile of books over there that needs to get donated that I'm unhauling. So yeah, I basically I need to kind of figure out more storage before I go buying books at any kind of great rate in 2022. There is one more book actually that I just realised that I nearly forgot to show you, and I can't believe it because it's the one that I'm the most excited about, and that is this incredibly special one that my mum got me. This is the, I want to say 100 and something edition of Lord of the Rings. Anyone who knows me in real life will know that Lord of the Rings is one of, if not the most special series for me, and I own it in various different editions now. I have the edition that I read first of all. Let me show you guys actually while we're here. We can talk through my favourite Lord of the Rings. So I have my like original paperback edition that is so battered. I mean, look at the state of this. It makes me feel so sad, but like I love it so much. And this is all 3-in-1. Like the type is tiny. I love it so much. So I read this when I think I was like 12 the first time I read Lord of the Rings, and yeah, I adore it so much. It is one of the most special series ever for me. So yeah, picking it up in other editions obviously is just like a little hobby almost that I have. So yeah, this is my kind of, this is the copy that I will read and devour. I then have the 50th anniversary edition, which is this beautiful hardback copy, and it has some gorgeous like pull out maps and stuff in it, or fold out maps, sorry I should say. I'll try and find an example here for you. And these were all like new maps and new illustrations that hadn't been seen before, that Christopher Tolkien wanted to include. But you can see the maps, they're absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, this was the 50th anniversary edition. And then I also, for Christmas, my wonderful mum got me the latest edition. Now I want to say this is like the 100th anniversary edition. They also do a leather bound version of this, which I didn't realise at the time, but I think this one's even more beautiful. So yeah, this one is fully illustrated in colour, and it has this gorgeous like gold foiling on the cover. And then look at these sprayed edges, you guys, like oh my gosh. And then inside, look at that, it's beautiful. And then you have like the title pages and stuff all marked in red. You've got these illustrations for each of the different books. You've got maps, and you've got various other illustrations throughout as well. And you've got maps kind of built into each, into the back and into the front too. Oh my gosh, you guys, honestly, I'm obsessed. This is absolutely stunning. And when I first saw this, I actually cried. I saw someone post it on TikTok, and I literally saw the TikTok and cried. I went downstairs to my mum and I was like, I don't know if you've got me my Christmas present yet, but if you haven't, I'd really love this. And she had, but she saw my reaction and was just like, I had to get you that as well. So I was made up when I opened this. I was not expecting it at all. And yeah, I love it so much. So again, this one's one that I probably won't read just because it's so unbelievably special. But I like to just keep my different like anniversary editions so that they can stay nice. And I am tempted at some point to probably get the leather bound copy as well, but it's well over £100, and that's not something that I feel like I can justify spending over £100 on right now. But yeah, I'm just upset. I mean, just like look at those sprayed edges. Just look, aren't they just gorgeous? So yeah, I'm incredibly happy about this, and this is, I think, my absolute favourite of all of my Christmas presents. And I'm still in shock and still just so happy that I own this. So yeah, that really is all of the books that I got for Christmas this year, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, link me to your videos if you've done any similar in the comments. I would love to see. I love seeing what people got for Christmas. I'm so nosy. And also as well, if you've read any of these, or if you have any recommendations based off of any of these, please let me know. I always want to hear what you guys think that I will love. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in another video very soon. Bye guys.